What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're out here in the garage once again, bringing you guys another update to my 2024 Road Glide today. And yes, today we are going to be installing a set of T-bars on the Road Glide. And as you guys may know, I do run T-bars on my 2019 Road Glide Gold Digger, and I absolutely love the way the bike rides with T-bars. So for my 2024, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I definitely wanted to stick with the T-bar setup. So I went with the new Kraus Wolf 1 Pro Kit for the new 2024 and up models, and today we're going to be installing those on my 24. So without further ado, let's hop into the video and get started. So as you can see here, we got my 24 Road Glide up on the stand, and as you see, there's no wheels on the bike. Like I mentioned in my last video, I am doing something with the wheels, so stay tuned for that, guys. So don't pay too much attention to that, being that the bike has no wheels on it. Today's video is going to be about these right here. This is the new Kraus T Bar Setup for the 2024 and up models. It's called the Wolf 1 Pro Kit. It comes with a 10-inch riser, as you see here, and it's a pullback riser. You can see it like angles back. It comes with the billet top tree right from Kraus, and it comes with their fork lock as well that we'll be installing today. And then it comes with their solid mount bushings and bolts to mount the riser to the top tree here. And then also new for 2024, they came out with this new stainless bar in gold. It's like a raw stainless color with a gold tint. This is their low bar, and they only offer this color in the low bar. I wanted to go with this color bar to match my exhaust on my turbo kit. As you can see here, it's a nice gold stainless color, and it will continue to get more gold as it heats up over time. And this color handlebar only comes in the low bend. They make 3 different bends, kind of like thrashing, but I went with the low bend because I wanted to go with this new color they just came out with, this new stainless handlebar. So let's go ahead and take the stock bars off now and get started. The first thing is to pull apart this plastic nacelle, and in order to do that, you pop up this piece right here. Broke that, but anyway, you pop up this piece right here. There's 2 Phillips screws holding this on, and then 1 Phillips screw up here, and then there's also 2 3/8 bolts on each side of the nacelle that is bolted into the top tree. You need to go ahead and remove those, so I'm taking a 3/8 ratchet wrench and I'm going to remove those now. Before you get too far into this, make sure you cover your tank with a big towel or a tank cover of some sort, because we're going to be draping the handlebars and the controls down onto the tank, and you definitely don't want to risk scratching the tank or dropping any parts on the tank as well. So now we're going to bust off this stock nacelle and remove the stock bars. So we went ahead and got the nacelle off first, which is this piece here, and we will not be reusing this piece on the new Kraus setup because I want to show off this billet top tree along with the billet risers. I think that's going to look sick, and I don't want to have that plastic nacelle around there. Also, on the Kraus top tree, there's no spot for the nacelle to bolt to the side of it, so we're just going to leave this factory plastic piece off and just run the billet top tree with the riser, and it's going to look so good on there. Cannot wait to get this on there and show you guys what it looks like. These right here are 1/4-inch hex bolts, so you want to go ahead and use a 1/4-inch hex socket to take the top bar clamp off, and then the handlebars will just pull right off once you unplug the connectors up there. So we got all the wires disconnected here. Now what we're going to do is remove the front brake perch and the clutch perch and basically just drape them over the tank, because your front brake line and clutch line are attached to this riser. So we're going to end up having to remove the bracket that holds the cables as well. We're going to remove that. So first thing we're going to do is drape the front brake lever and clutch lever over the tank, and then we'll be able to remove the stock bars. These here are a T27 Torx bit on both sides. So yeah, like I mentioned, you want to go ahead and remove these brackets that are holding your front brake cable and your clutch cable. It's a T27 bolt holding this bracket on, so you want to just go ahead and free those up so that when you drape your levers down, they don't get tied up. So got the clutch lever down now. We're going to go ahead and pop off the front brake master cylinder now, and then we'll be ready to pop the bars off. All right, so now that you have your bars off the bike, there's two T20 Torx bolts on the back of each side. So we got to go ahead and remove those. This comes apart, and then you'll be able to pull the grips off of each side and then pull the stock wires right out of the bar. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. All right guys, so I went ahead and got the wires pulled out of the stock bars, and then now we have our left and right control switches here. They come apart in two pieces, as I mentioned earlier in the video. We have the stock grips taken off here. I am not running the stock grips on the new T-bar setup. However, I am running the new Arlen Ness diamond black grips, and I'll show you guys what they look like here in just a second. There's the part number if you guys were wondering, but yeah, I'll show you guys what those look like once I get them out of the package. But we're going to be putting the new Arlen Ness grips on today with the new Kraus T Bar Setup, and I'll show you guys how easy this was to get the wires through the bars. Since there's not a big bend in these Kraus bars, it was super easy to run the wires through the bars, and so we went ahead and did that. So now that the wires are ran through the bar, we can go ahead and build the T Bar setup right here on the table before installing it on the Road Glide. But before we do that, we got to go ahead and take the stock top tree off. So we're going to do that right now, and I'll show you guys what you got to do to take that off. You have 3 pinch bolts, one up here, one right here, and one over here around the fork tubes, and then one around the steering stem. These here are a 1/4 inch Allen bolt, so you need a 1/4 inch socket for those, which is what we have right here, 1/4 inch socket. New for 2024, you have this T45 bolt. This bolt here is what connects the top tree to the bottom tree, and you are going to be reusing this bolt, not the washer, but just the bolt. So we're going to go ahead and take that out last once we get all the pinch bolts loose. All right, so we went ahead and got the stock top tree off and installed this steering stem spacer, if you will. Basically, you take your stock steering stem bolt out, that T45 bolt out. Now, when you do that, make sure you have somebody holding the front forks or the front wheel, because the forks and the whole front end moves like this, and it also drops down out of the neck of the frame. So the headset bearings up top here and the neck bearings will fall out if you're not careful. So have somebody holding your front forks. It's totally different than doing T-bars on an older bike. So for 2024, you have to be very careful. Have a couple sets of hands here helping you. When you undo this stock bolt, everything wants to fall out the bottom. So you have to make sure your bearings and everything are back into the frame and into the steering stem. And on this Kraus top tree in particular, they provide you with this spacer, or this center section here that you have to put on using your factory T45 bolt. And then this goes over the bushing inside of the bearings in the steering stem, and you want to tighten that up, and then that way your forks are no longer moving like this back and forth or up and down. So everything is tightened up, ready for the top tree, and we're going to go ahead and do that now. All right guys, so we're going to go ahead and take our 3/4 inch bolts and throw some Loctite on there. I use blue Loctite. These are 3/4 inch bolts. You're going to need a 3/4 inch socket to tighten those up. We got our bushings in here. We got the silver on the bottom and our black ones on the top. We're going to go ahead and run our bolts through the top tree and thread them into the riser. All right guys, so we're gonna go ahead and torque these two 3/4 inch bolts down to 55 foot-pounds. So the Kraus top tree comes with its own fork lock, and in order to put this in there, you have to remove these two T25 Torx bolts here, and then basically this fork lock slides right up in there, and then you tighten it down using those T25 bolts there. So we're gonna go ahead and remove those now, and then put the new fork lock in. I'm gonna make sure to Loctite these as well. Okay, so now that our fork lock is in there and tightened down, our two riser bolts are torqued down, ready to go. We're gonna take our top bar clamp off using a 3/16 Allen, and then we'll be able to put the new Kraus handlebar in here and run the wires through the riser. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and install our handlebar on top of the riser. We're gonna run our wires through the center of the riser here, pull the cords down through, just like so. So before we put our top bar clamp on, we wanna go ahead and Loctite all these bolts here, these 3/16 Allen bolts. Are you getting me doing this, John? Are you getting me doing this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I just want to snug them up so that the bar doesn't move in there, and we can get them, you know, at least mounted on the bike. And then I'll adjust the angle of the handlebar once I get it on the bike and once I'm sitting on the bike. All right, so what we're doing now is taking these pinch bolts all the way out before we install the top riser on the bike. Again, these are a 5/16 Allen bolts. Take those out, and then if you want to use like a plastic wedge or a wood wedge to kind of separate the clamp here a little bit more, it will make it easier for this top tree to slide over your fork tubes. Bam, check that out, guys. Got the top tree put on, looks killer on there with the stainless bars. I obviously have to adjust these up some once I get the controls on there, but just wanted to show you guys the fit and finish, the quality of the Kraus top tree and riser. Super nice, all billet. Their black anodized is kind of glossy. Installing the top tree onto the forks honestly wasn't that bad. You just basically want to make sure that the top of your fork tubes are flush with the top tree. And then now we have to go ahead and put our pinch bolts back in and torque them down. Also, make sure you Loctite your pinch bolts as well. And then what we'll do is plug everything in, plug our controls in, maybe run some wire loom over these so that it looks all nice. And then we'll be able to put the controls up here and it'll be done, guys. All right, guys, so I just got the controls and the grips on exactly how I want them placed. I sat on the bike and adjusted the angle of the controls and the mirrors, and that is where I'm going to run them. Just want to point out a few things on this setup. If you guys are going to be purchasing this setup, I want to point out a few things. So starting out on the left side here, your clutch side, being that these Kraus handlebars don't have a hole drilled into them where your control housing for your switches bolts up to, there's a little set screw in here. It's a little torque screw, T25 set screw. What you have to do is loosen that up so that the control housing will close up and tighten up so you won't have any gaps in here, and so that your high beams still work, right? So make sure you loosen up that set screw on the back side of the housing before you put everything on and try to button up your control housing here, because I did it at first and it wasn't closing up, and I'm like, what is going on? And that's what it is. There's a set screw in there that has to be loosened up so that it doesn't hit the bar as much. Then once you get it on, you can tighten up the set screw so that it goes against your bars. Moving on to the throttle side, the right side, everything went together the same way as the clutch side, so no issues there. However, on the back side of this housing, you have this plastic flap, I guess you could call it, and I wish I would have videoed it, but my camera died, so this is the next day and I'm picking the camera back up. There was a plastic flap that basically holds your throttle tube in place, and on that plastic piece that goes around your throttle tube, there's like a little tab in there. I had to trim the tab with like a hot knife. On the factory handlebars, there's a cutout for it. There's like a hole in the bar, just like over on the clutch side with the where the set screw was. Being that the Kraus handlebars do not have that hole in there, I took a hot knife and basically just trimmed off that nub, and the strap was able to go over the throttle tube and clip into the control housing. The back side of the control housing was able to tighten up, and as you can see, there's no gaps whatsoever. Everything fits nice. The throttle tube spins freely, doesn't get caught up on anything, and everything's all tightened up and secured. I just wanted to mention them. If you guys are going to be doing this handlebar install yourself in your garage, those are two things to look out for. We have all of our wires coming down through the riser. I really like how Kraus has these holes drilled in the riser for all your wires to go down through here nice and neat. And as you can see, they kind of just sit there and flop. Well, I have a fix for that. I bought on Amazon some wire loom, and I'm going to group these wires together and have just one piece of wire loom going down into the neck where the wires are coming out from the frame of the bike down there. Also, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Do I keep the factory black Torx bolts here for the hand controls, or do I install the Santoro Fabworks blue bolt kit, the same bolt kit that I have on my engine? They do offer the hand controls in the bolt kit from Santoro. I think it looks pretty cool. I want to know your thoughts, so comment down below. Do you guys like the Santoro bolts with the blue collars, or do you just like the factory black bolts? Comment down below, let me know your thoughts. All right guys, once you have everything buttoned up, you want to go ahead and torque your bolts on your top tree here. You want to torque to 20 foot-pounds, and you have 2 on each side, right? So you want to torque those 4 bolts to 20 foot-pounds, and then the 2 Allen bolts you have in the front around the steering stem here, kind of hard to see with all the cables and stuff, but these 2 here, there's one on the right and one on the left. These 2 bolts you want to torque down to 28 foot-pounds. So 28 foot-pounds up front and 20 foot-pounds in the rear. We're gonna go ahead and do that now and get that done and over with. And then I'm going to throw some wire loom over these wires here and make it all nice and neat, so that it's basically just one piece of wire coming down through the triple tree. All right guys, so I went ahead and got my wire loom started. I basically unplugged all 3 wires here, as you can see, just so that I could run the wires through this loom without having to cut the loom. By the way, I got this wire loom off Amazon. It was really cheap, but it's really nice. Basically, I just want to end the video off here. What I'm going to be doing is feeding these connectors up through this end of the wire loom, and then obviously making it nice and neat and tucking it down through this hole down here through the steering stem. Basically what we're going to have is one big wire just like that going down into the front of the steering stem with all of the wires in there, so that you don't see any of the connectors or anything. So yeah, then once that's done, basically you just want to reroute your brake cable and clutch cable so that the handlebars can turn freely without any issues. And yeah, that's basically going to do it for today's install on the Kraus Wolf 1 Pro Kit. You get the top tree, the 10-inch riser, and the new low bar in this stainless gold color, guys. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Do you guys like the stainless bar, or do you guys think the all black bar would look better? I'm really digging the stainless bar with the stainless pipe that we're running, obviously with the turbo kit on the Road Glide. So comment down below, I want to know your thoughts on the new T-bar setup. I absolutely love it. And here's a good POV view. This is literally where my head sits on the bike, and as you guys can see, the screen is not blocked at all whatsoever. And I'm a shorter rider, and you guys can see that the screen is not blocked. So Kraus did an amazing job at engineering this T-bar setup so that the riser is not in the way of the radio or the screen. Super clean, easy install, guys. You guys can do this yourself. Once again, shout out to Kraus Moto. They did a great job at engineering this T-bar setup. I also wanted to point something out to you guys. This ground that gets bolted to the factory top tree, you no longer have to use it. There's no place to mount it on the Kraus top tree. So what I did on Gold Digger is I literally just cut it right off, and I think I'm gonna do that on this bike as well. And what I did on Gold Digger was just tuck it back through the fairing in the wiring harness because it wasn't being used. I'm literally gonna do the same thing with this one. It is not needed. Everything works and functions as normal. Just wanted to point that out as well. All right guys, so that's gonna do it for today's video on installing the new Kraus T-bar setup on my 24 Road Glide. I cannot wait to get on this bike and try them out and honestly compare them with the Thrashin' T-bars I have on Gold Digger. The quality is there, the look is there, and unfortunately, since you guys know I do live in Michigan and there's snow on the ground, I can't go out and test it right now, but we are days away, like 3 weeks away from Daytona Bike Week. So I will be testing them out in Daytona Bike Week, and I cannot wait to get down there and try them out. But all in all, super easy install. If you guys have the simple tools needed to do this job, you can do it in your garage as well. Make sure you have some help though holding that front end, because as soon as you loosen up that steering stem bolt, the whole front end just drops down, especially if you have it up on a lift like this. If it's on the ground, it definitely would be easier on it. You wouldn't have to hold the front forks up, but being that I don't have wheels on the bike, I definitely needed somebody up front to hold the fork, because all your bearings and everything in the steering stem just fall right out if you're not careful. So on the 2024 and up bikes, you really got to be careful of that. I have everything torqued down to spec, and everything feels nice and tight. Throttle tube feels good and snappy. It's not sticking at all. I have a lot more content coming on my 24 Road Glide. As you guys can see, there's no wheels on the bike, so stay tuned for the next video. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Also guys, real quick, Daytona Bike Week 2025 is coming up. Yes, we're like 3 weeks away from Daytona Bike Week. I'm actually leaving Michigan to head down there the last week of February. I have to go down there early with this bike and my dad's CVO ST that has a new motor in it. and we are actually going down to All American Cycle in Miami, Florida, and George is going to be tuning both of these bikes down there, so you guys aren't going to want to miss it. I'm going to bring you guys along every step of the way and show you guys what this bike with the turbo makes on the dyno for power, and also my dad's CVO ST with the new big motor we just put in it. So stay tuned for that video as well. I will be doing a build breakdown on the CVO ST for you guys. I haven't made the video yet just because I haven't been able to go out and ride the bike and give you guys a full review on the new motor that we put in it. Stay tuned. I do have a build breakdown video coming on the CVO ST. I do read the comments. I see your guys' DMs. I know you guys want more CVO ST content, so stay tuned for that. I will be putting that on the channel. I really just wanted to focus more on my 24 here and get this thing ready to go for Daytona Bike Week. I'm just gonna give a little spoiler alert out right now. We're wrapping the bike. The bike is gonna be wrapped. A little bit more in depth of a wrap than what I did on Gold Digger last year. But basically what I wanna do is make this thing stand out. I'm really excited to get it done, guys. I cannot wait to get this thing sitting on its new wheels, get the wrap on there. I have a painted interfering we're gonna be installing on the channel together, because I know a lot of you guys that are watching hate the flat black interfering like I do as well on the new 24 models and 25 models. They did not change that for 25. So I have a new painted interfering going on it. One of the last things I'm gonna do before I hit the road to go to Daytona is we are gonna be installing a stereo, because as you guys know, the 2024 stereos do not sound very good from the factory. So I have a new stereo coming, so I will be doing a video on that. We have the graphics coming, we got the wheels coming. If you guys are gonna be going down to Daytona for Bike Week, make sure you guys hit me up on Instagram at DOOWORK Motorsports, all one word, and message me, let me know where you guys are staying. Maybe we can meet up, collab. I'll have stickers with me. I'll be handing out stickers all week. I'll be bringing all my merch with me. That reminds me, if you guys want some merch, I do have hats, beanies, t-shirts, and hoodies available for sale, all on my website at DOOWORKMotorsports.com. I'll put it up here on the screen. Also have a link in the description of the video for you guys to go purchase some merch if you guys want to do that. If you guys want to wait till Daytona, I will be bringing all my merch with me, so make sure you guys hit me up on Instagram and let me know where you guys are going to be at. And I got the tour pack now, so I'll be throwing the merch in there and meeting up with you guys. That's basically going to do it for today's video, guys. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate all your support on the channel. I wouldn't be able to do all these mods and make all these videos without you guys. I really appreciate your support. We're at 55,000 subscribers right now. My next goal is 100K, so share this video. Share my content with your friends. If you're here for Harley content, you're in the right spot. If you're here for 2024 Harley content, you're really sitting good. We got a lot more planned for the 24 bike. 2025 is here. I can't believe we're already into February. January just flew by. I can't wait to bring more content to the channel and share everything with you guys. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.